This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks are back to being 2 games below 500 as they lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers in a tight one, 95-93. They came out with the right energy, ladies and gentlemen. That they did. They actually took a lead to begin the game. Right? The Knicks came out. They had an early lead. There's good shots by Evan Fournier, or not good shots by Evan Fournier, some clean, good-looking shots by Evan Fournier. He got a lot of good looks. That's what I'm trying to say. Wasn't always knocking them down. RJ came out strong. Randle came out, knocked down some shots. The Knicks were playing good at the beginning of the first quarter, but as the first quarter began to wear on, the Cleveland Cavaliers dug in defensively, and they began to pull ahead. Then the bench came in. The bench came in the second quarter, and they got the game back under control. Obi Toppin, he looked good. He looked spry, looked bouncy, knocked down some threes tonight. Was rebounding the ball pretty well tonight. And the bench got the lead back for the Knicks in the second quarter. But then when the starters came back in, the starters just couldn't match up well against the Cleveland Cavaliers starters. They didn't match up well. Cleveland Cavaliers took the lead back, ladies and gentlemen. Even Rajon Rondo was knocking down threes. I was like, come on. We can't have another guard who can't hit threes start knocking down threes. The same way that Ricky Rubio did a couple of months ago. Rajon Rondo was knocking down threes in that second quarter. The game was tied at half, ladies and gentlemen. And then we come out in the third quarter, and the Knicks looked energized. Their defense was on point. They were getting deflections. Julius Randle had a couple of steals. Nerlens Noel had a couple of steals. And it seemed like the Knicks were ready to jump out to a double-digit lead, but they could not hit free throws. Every time they got to the line, missed 2, missed 1, missed 2. They couldn't hit free throws in that third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. The Cleveland Cavaliers eventually jumped out to about a 14-point lead behind Kevin Love, getting hot behind the three-point line. Then the bench comes in, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll say, you know, in that third quarter, as time dwindled down, I'm waiting for RJ and Julius Randle to come out of that third quarter. Although RJ was playing well, you know, you needed to get some fresh legs in the game because Cleveland, from the first quarter down to the end, they were rotating players in and out, keeping their guys kind of fresh. Either way, it didn't happen, and the Knicks go down double digits. But the bench comes in, and they almost save the team again. They bring the Knicks back. Emmanuel quickly played a decent floor games. I think like 6 assists tonight. A couple of iffy shots. One big one down the stretch that I thought he shouldn't have took. But, hey, it happens. He's out there. You know what Emmanuel quickly is going to do when he's on the floor. His shot selection is something that he needs to work on, without a doubt. But the Knicks began to dig in that fourth quarter. Even when the starters came back on the floor, they began to dig in. But dig this, though, ladies and gentlemen. Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, neither one of those guys were on the floor down the stretch. And for good purpose, because they're not playing defense. Emmanuel quickly, his defense is better. Quentin Grimes, the kid plays defense. He was on the floor down the stretch of the game as the Knicks pulled to tie the game. but they could not get over the hump. And it came down to the last shot of the night. And on that last shot, ladies and gentlemen, the execution just was not there. I'm pretty sure Julius Randle taking a turnaround fadeaway three from 35, 40 feet away or whatever it was, that's not what was called up. But the execution was poor. I'm not exactly sure. I looked at the play a couple of times. I'm not exactly sure what the Knicks were supposed to be trying to do. I, for one, thought that they would try to get Quentin Grimes open, see if he can knock down a three. That's what I thought was being drawn up. But when I tried to look to see what they were doing, I couldn't tell. So the Knicks ended up taking a fadeaway three from 35 feet, and they lose this one 95-93 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Running down the box scores, ladies and gentlemen, R.J. Barrett. Another good night from R.J. Barrett. And ladies and gentlemen, on the Queens court, they talked about R.J. Barrett and whether or not he's ready to be the leader of this team. And, night in and night out, he's doing it. He's filling up the box score. 24 points from R.J. Barrett, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 56% from the field, and he shot 25% from the three-point line. Julius Randle, he had 18 points and 7 rebounds, but he shot poorly from the field, 35% from the field, 28% from the three-point line for Julius Randle. Nerlens Noel had a good rebounding night, 13 rebounds, the only Knick in double-digit rebounds. Obi Toppin, like I said, played a good game tonight. 5 for 9 from the field. He was 3 for 4 from the three-point line. We need that three-point shooting from Obi Toppin. I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, that if Obi Toppin is consistently hitting that three at a decent clip, besides 19%, he's going to see more minutes on the floor. 13 points and 6 rebounds for Obi Toppin tonight. And Quentin Grimes is 4 for 6 from the three-point line. 12 points for Quentin Grimes tonight. And he played some really, really good defense. As for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cavs were led by Kevin Love, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Love, the crafty veteran power forward. Kevin Love had 20 points tonight to go along with 11 rebounds. Looked like vintage Kevin Love out there. The Cavs had good balance scoring, though, beyond that. Darius Garland, he had 13 points and 12 assists. Isaac Okoro had 14 points and 6 rebounds. Evan Mobley had 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. Dean Wade had 13 points and 5 rebounds. This is a feisty Cleveland Cavaliers team, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very feisty team, indeed. I got my man Big Bubba in the building. We'll see if he's got his, Clearly he does not. You see what I'm saying? You see the guy wants to get on the show, sitting in the waiting room, but he's not ready. You know what I mean?
Bad,
and this is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, people always say, hey, leave Big Bubba alone, this, that, and the third. But this is the reason why. If you come on somebody's show, you got to be ready. So now I got to, now I got to spank him on air, live in front of everybody, because the dude's not ready.
My bad, sir. My bad.
You think what I'm saying? Be ready. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, there is no apologizing. You just got to be ready. You apologize every single time, and then you do it over again. You just got to be ready.
Oh, man, Sim, that was the best laugh I could have.
You just got to be ready. Looking at the stats behind the game, ladies and gentlemen, of course, the Knicks lost 95-93. The rebounding battle. The Knicks lost the rebounding battle, 51-45. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they had 29 assists. The Knicks had 21 assists. 7 steals for the Cavs, 11 for the New York Knicks. Each team only had 1 block. Surprising. The Cavs had 19 turnovers, ladies and gentlemen. 19 turnovers, and the Knicks were not able to capitalize on those turnovers. The Knicks only had 11 on the night. The Cavs shot 43% from the field. The Knicks shot 41.7% from the field. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 36% from the three-point line. The Knicks, 31.6%. Neither team could really knock down their free throws, but the Knicks shot 52.4% from the free throw line. And ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks just hit 3 more free throws. They possibly win this basketball game. I cannot, for the life of me, understand what's going on with this team from the free throw line. Get in the gym. Practice your free throws. You gotta hit free throws to win basketball games. The New York Knicks tonight, from the free throw line, let me get that stat. Let me see how many they actually missed. The Knicks, 11 for 21 from the free throw line. 11 for 21, 52.4% from the free throw line, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I don't know. It's going to be hard to win games if you're shooting like that from the free throw line. Bottom line. Big Bubba, what's going on, man? Talk to me, bro. First of all, you know, make your head a little bit even with mine. You know what I mean? I know you're taller than me in real life. You see, I got to teach this guy camera etiquette every single time he steps on the show. What's going on, man? Your thoughts about the game tonight?
Man, son, we talked about it in the show, right, man? It's hard to put in words because it's so frustrating. Because like I hate these games where you beat yourself. I could always take an L when the opponent's just better and it just isn't your night. But when you beat yourself, it just always eats me up more than when you lose to a better team, you know? Because it's like, look, RJ had a great game. He was one of the main reasons why we're in the game and the comeback. But you got to make your free throws. You went 50%. You went 50% for the line. Like you said, you hit 4 more free throws, we win the game. Even though, granted, the Cavs missed free throws too, but for our end, if you handle your business, you don't got to worry about this. We wouldn't be coming in pissed off talking about all this other stuff, man. It's just unfortunate. And then, Sim, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. I think something's going on with Randle, man. I just don't understand it. I just like there were just so many. Him and IQ just made me frustrated. Those last maybe 4 to 3 minutes left, that was just some frustrating basketball that I seen between those two. You got them playing a 2-man game, which, or whatever. I mean, RJ was getting hot. I don't understand why. They just stopped going to RJ and did this weird 2-man game where you just seeing IQ just over dribble, just going south and he's not even going north and south. He's going south.
Are you sure?
East and west.
Are you sure? RJ had the majority of the shot attempts in the fourth quarter.
No, but I'm talking about the last few minutes, though. The last few minutes he did it. Is IQ and Randle just going back and forth with each other and then taking up bad shots. That's what I said. I mean, we could go back and see, but I'm telling you, that's what I saw. The IQ and them was taking bad shots. And then to me, what really killed, and this was on Randle. When he double teamed, when he went to go for the double team over Mobley, when Evan Mobley was froze, he couldn't go nowhere. Noah's had him locked up, and you seen Randle try to go for the double team. And what did Mobley do? He passed it out to a wide open.
Yeah, that was a bad
Randle's
play.
guy.
That was a bad play. There was no reason for that double team. But we recovered after that, right? We came back down. We tied the game. We had chances to win after that. You know what I mean?
But that's why I say that's when IQ and Randle started doing the thing where it just didn't make sense. Like RJ was going to the.
Well, let's see. Well, let's see. We're gonna take the last 3 minutes of the game. Quentin Grimes 3-point jump shot. Barrett driving layup. Randle driving layup. Randle misses a jump shot. Quickly misses a jump shot. Barrett hits 1 of 2 free throws. Barrett misses a jump shot. And then Randle misses the turnaround 3-point jump shot at the end. So that's the last 3 minutes. That's the last 3 minutes of the game as far as who was taking shots.
But IQ was wasting a lot of time, Sam. He was going like.
No, I'm just naming who took what shots during the last 3 minutes of the game. And, you know, like I said, it was Grimes, it was Barrett, Randle. Randle missed the shot, quickly missed the shot. Then we came down. Barrett went to the basket, 2 free throws, and then Barrett missed a jump shot, and then Randle missed the turnaround. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying that's why you really have to go back and look at these things, because when you're when your emotions are in it, it can look very different, right? Because I just ran down who took what shots during the last 3 minutes, and majority of them were R.J. Barrett. I'm not blaming anything on R.J. Barrett. I'm just saying, that's the way that it was. Now, before we get to the last play, there's a moment that I thought was bad, and that I agree with you about how things should have went during the game, talking about Julius Randle. So Julius Randle passes the ball to R.J. Barrett, and I'm bringing this over. You can't see. He passed to R.J. Barrett for a semi-open 3-point shot. Okay, and with, a few seconds left in the game, 11 seconds left in the game. You guys can see it on the screen now. But I thought, instead of Julius Randle creating the double team, R.J. Barrett had been slicing to the basket and penetrating to the rim all night long. There was 11 seconds left. I thought R.J. Barrett should have had the ball in his hands with Julius Randle standing in the corner, and let R.J. Barrett go to the basket and try to score the basketball. Did we get a good shot? Maybe so. But I thought we had a better chance of scoring that basketball with R.J. Barrett being the one to go to the basket in that situation, and possibly create a situation where someone had to double team him. It didn't happen, but I was a little bit disappointed in that play there, because I thought in that play, Julius Randle dribbled a lot, and he does this, he does it. This is something that the Knicks do. Right? He dribbles, tries to create the double team, and then kicks it out to the open shooter. I don't have a problem with that happening, because R.J. Barrett was open. I just thought that R.J. Barrett was having more success getting to the basket, and I wanted the ball to be in R.J. Barrett's hands at that time for him to get to the basket, because he was having success for a good portion of the night, especially in the fourth quarter.
Oh, Sim, I definitely agree with you, and I know I know you're talking about the last position before our 3-pointer. When I knew it when Randall got the ball. I'm like, why? I'm screaming. My dad's like, shut up. I'm screaming at the TV. Give it to RJ. Let RJ take the last shot. And this is what I'm saying, Sim, about how can I say? It's about feeling. It's about IQ. It's about just knowing to go to that guy. And I know that he wants to be the guy.
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. It's not just going to that guy, because he did go to that guy. See, that's what.
But he over dribbled, and it was like the last. Here, take it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the last few seconds. It was a very open shot, and he could have hit that shot. That's not the point that I'm making. That he could have hit that shot. It wasn't wide open, but it was a pretty clean look at the basket. I just wanted RJ to penetrate to the basket, because that was
I was mad at RJ about that. He should have did that.
No. I'm not talking about in that situation. It would have been hard for RJ. I wanted RJ to just have the ball in his hands and let everybody else clear out. And could you center yourself in the screen, please? Come on, we're trying to keep this looking good, man. Keep yourself centered. I know. Keep it looking professional. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for helping me keep this guy on point. All right. I just wanted the ball to go into his hands. I didn't think it was a bad pass. I didn't think it was a bad play. I just thought the better play would have been, with 11 seconds on the clock, for RJ to try to penetrate, and for Randle to give him the ball to penetrate. I didn't think it was a bad play, because you got the ball to the right guy who was hot all night long, shooting 56% from the field. But I just felt like we had a better chance of scoring if RJ penetrated. But that's where a point guard comes in, like a real leader comes in, who is a point guard and understands who's doing what on the floor, and why this guy RJ is probably the best option at that point in time. You know what I mean? We don't have that, and we miss that. And I feel like, I'm not going to say that play lost the game, because he could have drove to the basket and missed. You know what I'm saying? But, that's the type of critical thinking you got to have out there on the floor. And then the last play of the game, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what was supposed to happen here. We all know it was not supposed to end with Julius Randle pulling a turnaround 3-point jump shot, 35 feet away from the basket. I just don't know what was supposed to happen. Right? And guys just running around all over the place. Were we supposed to set screens for Quentin Grimes? I mean, I see Emmanuel quickly set a screen for Julius Randle. And I see R.J. Barrett go over like he's going to set a screen for Quentin Grimes. But then Quentin Grimes is moving towards R.J. Barrett. I have no idea what was supposed to happen there. No idea. So, there's only 2 questions here. Only 2 questions. One, was it a bad play that was drawn up? Or 2, was it bad execution? That's the only 2 things. Was it a bad play or was it bad execution? Because I didn't see anybody, except for Emmanuel quickly, who set a screen for Julius Randle's man. It's the only screen that I seen set. I didn't see anything else happen. But the execution on that play, whatever it was terrible. I don't know if it was a bad play or bad execution. I am of the belief that any play that you call up, can be successful if you execute it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It was just bad. I'm going to show it again, man. And when you look at it, you just see guys running around like crazy. You'll see IQ. Once it comes back, you're going to see IQ go set a screen for Julius Randle to come up to the top of the key. Lamar played pretty good defense on Julius Randle. You'll see R.J. Barrett go towards Quentin Grimes, but then Quentin Grimes starts to come towards R.J. Barrett. I don't know who was supposed to set the screen on who. A lot of physical stuff going on there, a lot of hands and legs flailing all over the place, and it ends in, Julius Randle taking a 35-foot turnaround jump shot.
So I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think it's a combination of both, man. I don't trust Thibs when it comes to out of bound plays. I really, really don't. His last minute possession plays have been bad. Even going back to last year when we had close games, they were bad. Like his Julius Randle ISOs just weren't good when he called them out for the last possession. I just think they were bad. And then, like you said, the execution was terrible. Like I don't literally know what the Knicks were doing. I don't think the Knicks believed in that play. Just the energy wasn't there. I just don't get what they were doing. It was just a bad attempt. It was just bad all around.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like this. See, this is where, the question is always going to come in. Is it execution or is it the play? Right? But you can see if they executed it. If they execute the play, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good play. But if they execute the play, you can see something happen. Right? In that instance, the execution was very, very poor. The only thing that I saw was that, you were setting a down screen and a cross screen. It's about it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. It always comes down to execution. In my book, it's going to come down to execution. Execution is a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to do, right? I do believe, like, for example, my girls, they're like, Coach, how come you don't have all these fancy names for all of your defensive plays? I'm like, because once we put the play out there on the floor, the opposing team knows what it is. I don't care about all of that right now. Just execute. If you execute, you'll be successful. Not always, but, if you execute, you'll be okay. They didn't execute there, and a lot of times the players do not execute. That's on the coach too. When the players don't execute, that's on the coach. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Because you can teach and you can hold players accountable that aren't executing in certain instances like that. And then, of course, you got to practice situational basketball. These type of plays, in my opinion, you should have a number of plays that you work on and you practice so that when you get in the game, you're not drawing up something entirely new. It is very hard for players to go out and execute something brand spanking new. You know what I mean? When you're sitting in the timeout and adrenaline is pumping and you got the crowd screaming and you got all this kind of stuff going on, you know what I mean? You should practice a few plays that you're going to do, and then you go out and execute them. You can execute them better. But, that play was just bad. It was bad. Bad execution and maybe a bad play that was drawn up. You know what I'm saying? But here we are. 95-93, the New York Knicks lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're now 2 games below 500. 2 tough games coming up against Miami and against Milwaukee.
Oh, man.
The Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, this is the New York Knicks. Spree, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Oh, man. We just can't get over the hump.
Struggling to get over the hump. Yeah.
It's just, I don't feel confidence in these games to get over the hump with them. And I'll tell you what the biggest play for me was. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things, but the Okoro offensive rebound. You know the play I'm talking about? The one that Garland hits the 3 in the corner to make it 94-91?
Yes.
That was off of an offensive rebound where Okoro crashed. I just feel like in all these close games that I feel like we lose that are dagger games, there's always that one offensive rebound we give up that drives me nuts.
Yeah, because we played really good defense on that play.
We did, and to be fair, it was a long rebound, but I don't know who. I need to watch whose man Okoro was, but he flew in there.
Yep.
And I don't know.
But that's the type of desperation that the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing with, right? The type of energy that the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when you're playing with that type of energy and that type of desperation, every time you step out there on the floor, you're going to be quicker to those type of rebounds.
I mean, Okoro, 6 rebounds, Mobley, 12, Love, 11. They beat us on the boards. I mean, it stinks. I mean, you can't miss 10 free throws in that type of game. If you're not going to execute late, at least make your free throws.
Right.
We can't make free throws. We are the worst free throw shooting team in the NBA. I haven't looked up the stats for me to say that that's a fact, but I feel like we are.
I know you do, because I feel the same way. Whenever we go to the line, I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're thinking, is this even a good thing?
Right. Exactly. I don't know how many times I would just rather have made the shot than go to the line.
Did you want Julius to come back in at the end?
Did I want Julius? Actually, I wanted to see if Obi Toppin would continue to play the way he was playing, because he was knocking down his threes. He was playing good basketball. So no, I didn't. I wanted to see Obi Toppin continue to play.
Yeah, I agree. He was playing too well. I know he had 2 turnovers maybe, but he was making his threes and he was active.
Hey, Spree.
I thought he should have played it. And I just don't understand the play that Randle, he made the right play to RJ, the possession before, but he took a lot of time off the clock.
I agree that it was a good play, right? I agree that it was a good play. I just thought RJ Barrett was having better success the entire night, so the ball should have been in his hands with people clearing out and let him go to the basket.
Yes, I
That's
agree.
what I thought
don't
should
think
have
it should
happened.
have been in Randall's hands to create an open look because we were only down 1 point. We weren't down 2.
Right.
If you were down 2, I mean, you could even say you wanted in RJ's hands because he could get fouled. I think they were in the bonus. I agree. We probably it should have been in RJ's hands to create, be aggressive. If RJ doesn't have it, he can spray out. Randall held it down. Yes, he created a look for RJ, but RJ really had to get that off quickly, and you don't really want him to take a 3 there.
Right. Right. And plus he had been 1 for 3, for the night. I mean, 33%. I guess it's not horrible. He could have easily made that shot and been 2 for 4 for the night. That's where a leader comes in, though. A leader comes in and gets that play right. Whether or not he converts
Kemba
the
wasn't
shot.
on the floor.
No, Kemba wasn't on the floor. But for good reason.
He didn't deserve to be on the floor.
For good reason. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm almost tired of the Kemba Walker experience right now, or experiment, whatever you want to say. I'm kind of.
It's more bad than good. It's more bad than good because they're completely what he can't give defensively because Garland completely attacked him. Even when he's making shots. I don't really think he's benefiting us.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, Sim. Like, it's just the trade-off to me. I feel like we have something when the ball's in RJ's hands. I agree with you. I think the team flows a little bit better. Maybe I can get Evan more. I think I'm done with Kemba Walker, and it's sad. I think I'm done. I think I want out of this relationship.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done with Kemba.
How do we break up?
Free,
can you trade him today?
Hey, Free, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing, man? I'm with you with the Kemba thing, man. It's just I'm done. I think the honeymoon's over for a lot of people, and I also to go back to what you were saying before, man. I had when Obi hit that 3 and Tom Thibodeau summed them out, I was like, here we go. I just felt like. One question: do you think that kills the teammates? Do you think they notice those kind of things, like? If they see Obi having a good game like that and he yanks them for Randle. And I mean, let's be fair. I know it's a little different for athletes when it comes to their teammates, but when your teammates playing bad and ruins the flow of the game. You kind of know that.
I mean, I don't listen. They're used to their set rotations. They know who's coming in for when. I don't think so. I don't think. I don't think they're looking at like, oh my gosh, why did it? I don't think they're looking. That's just me.
But Sim, my thing is that you got Obi playing good, right? I mean, and again, I know coaches and I know people don't like the plus minus. I know people have a love-hate relationship with it because it doesn't tell the whole game. But I mean, when you got Obi that's a plus 20 and Randall that's a negative 20, I mean, there is some indication that maybe Randall shouldn't be playing right now.
Right. So then maybe RJ shouldn't have been because he was a negative 11. So right, is that what you mean?
I mean, hey, look, that's what I say. Plus minus is 11.
That's what I'm saying. It's he neither here nor there really in my book because RJ was a negative 11 on the night. Yeah, he should have been on the floor. Emmanuel Quickly was a plus 12.
He should not have been on the floor in those last few minutes.
I mean, so like, I don't think you can entirely go by that. It all depends on, what lineups you go on the floor with. That being said, Obi Toppin was playing good basketball. Listen, Obi Toppin could have stayed in the game and
we could have lost,
and we still lost or made some bad plays, and people would be saying the other thing. But listen, he was playing good basketball. He was playing better than Julius Randle.
I think he also creates – one thing he does better than Julius is for some reason he just flies in there, and when we don't have our heads together and we take bad shots, I don't know, Obi's always around the rim. Maybe he gets another offensive rebound. Maybe I get to the line one more time, and maybe I miss my free throws again. That's the thing with this team that drives me nuts. When we get to we got to figure that out. When you get to the line, as a fan, you should feel like that's a gret thing. Right now with this team, when they get to the line, you're scared.
Yeah.
Because you're getting nothing. You're getting 1 for 2. And then Garland comes on the other floor and hits a 3. So I don't know, man. It's frustrating. I like Kemba as a person. I think he's a great teammate. I have a lot of respect for Kemba Walker. I think all three of us do. But I'm done with Kemba. I wish him well. RJ's playing the right way. I would have liked to have seen him make that three, but I didn't like the plays. But Tibbs is not a good out-of-bounds guy. He is what he is. But, Sim, you have a good night. I don't know how to figure this out. It may get worse, but I don't have any answers.
We'll
but hopefully it doesn't get worse.
Man. I don't know. Hey, appreciate it, Spree. Appreciate it.
All right, man. It's all love.
And can you tell this guy to stay in the camera? I mean, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. You know, as much as you talk about players on the court who can't execute, who can't do this, you know, and you talk about, hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Because people will look at this video and say, man, how come Sim doesn't make sure that his guests stay centered in the camera? Not knowing that I continuously tell you to stay centered in the camera. I continuously tell you to be ready when it's time to come on, and yet still I go through the same thing over and over and over again. Just like a coach with his players. Dig what I'm saying? Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Sam, Bubba, what's good? How y'all doing? It's Gavin from Duval County.
Gavin, what's going on, man? How you feeling, man?
Not the way I wanted to end my night, but, you know, it is what it is. Real quick, few of the biggest things, I think the Knicks needed this win tonight as a big statement win against a Cleveland team who is supposedly supposed to be rebuilding, but's playing great ball right now. And I think we needed a great jump start, especially heading into this stretch of games and heading into, you know, the Heat and Milwaukee game. I will say tonight, salute to you, Quentin Grimes. Played a hell of a game. Mm-hmm. And I extend my condolences and apologies to Quentin Grimes because that dude is out there giving it 110 on defense, running around screens, running through multiple screens on the offensive side, and you can visually see him clapping his hands for the ball, and they don't look his way until it's the last time, you know, it's the last second for a desperation heave. And I just think that they should have looked for him a lot more, especially when he had the hot hand. Obi played a great game tonight. He did have 2 back-to-back turnovers. One of them, to me, off the cross-court outlet pass, was kind of a momentum shifter for me, and I honestly thought Tibbs was going to pull him after that, but he let him stay in. Sim, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I didn't necessarily want Randle to come in only because I know that Randle does not want the ball in his hands when it's going down the stretch, and he proved that to me tonight when as soon as he came in at like that 3:45, 3.5-minute mark, back-to-back possessions, him and IQ ran the pick and roll on the left wing. Randle rolled, and IQ dished him a pocket pass, and Randle wasn't even looking for the ball at all. Back-to-back possessions. And it's just, I mean, if you're supposedly going to be our number one go-to option, I mean, dude, you have to at least look for the ball on the roll. And then the last 2 things is we're going into the stretch. We're going to need Evan Fournier, but we are really going to need Alec Burks coming off the bench. I don't know what's been up with him these last 3-4 weeks. I don't know if it was the change going into the starting lineup, you know, and switching up his roles, but I want to say this is the second or third game in the last 2 weeks that he has had 0 points. And we're going to need him big. And then the last thing is, look, I say it every time I come on here. Free throws, free throws, free throws. Free throws win ball games. There is no reason why, as a professional team, we should be shooting 52% from the line. And what that tells me is that we are not putting in enough work in the gym at the free throw line. RJ Barrett was saying in his post-game interview last night that he's wanting more. Well, look, if you're wanting more, bro, when it comes down to it, you have to hit free throws when it matters, because that was the difference for our game. But, I mean, we've got to find a way to pull it together. I think that they started out a little bit better tonight, but I think that this would have been a great momentum shift for us going into this stretch of the ball games. But And real quick, Sim, that last play, did we have a timeout?
You know, I am not sure. That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, because I thought right there, I can't remember if we had a timeout or not. I would hope that if we did, Tibbs would have called timeout.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. That he would have called timeout to try to get some things under control, and maybe bring in another play. I don't know if he had a timeout left or not, but, that play definitely wasn't it, or the execution wasn't it. One of the two.
Yeah, but I'll say, honestly, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Quentin Grimes right now. I thought he played a hell of a game on both sides of the ball. And I think that they should have done a better job of looking for him more. But like I said, free throws is going to be the detriment to us. We're either going to find our way down a lot trying to fight back in it because we're missing free throws, or we're going to find ourselves in a lot of situations like this where we have chances to win the game going down the stretch or could be up, and missed free throws is just going to break it. But I thought this would have been a great momentum shift, but it's on to Miami. I'll be in the building for that one. I'm going to link up with Savvy, so hopefully we can
that's what's up.
Pull something out of there. So,
yeah, that's what's up. Maybe, hopefully.
Be safe.
Yeah, hopefully you and Savvy are going to bring us some good luck down there, man, because we're going to need it.
We'll try to.
We're going to need
have a blessed one.
Appreciate you, Gavin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, free throws, man. You got to knock down your free throws. Taking a look at the keys to the game that we talked about before the game even started earlier today, right? We talked about getting off to a strong start. I thought the Knicks did that. They got off to a strong start, but it faded, right? It faded because they didn't play with enough fire throughout the game. The Cleveland Cavaliers had more fire than we did. The Knicks didn't play with enough fire, right? So, I mean, that right there, in my opinion, that's an X. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't put a check mark next to that. I'd have to put an X next to that. Win the rebounding battle? We did not win the rebounding battle. So I'd have to put an X next to that. Make free throws? We didn't make free throws. So I'd have to put an X next to that. We stayed out of foul trouble. So look, 3 out of the 5 keys to the game that I put up there, we did not execute. So we lost. We didn't play with enough fire. Got off to a strong start. We didn't play with enough fire. It waned. Sometimes we had some fire. Sometimes we didn't. It waned. Got beat on the boards. And, of course, we missed free throws. So we lost the game, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Fulio, what's popping with you, bro? How you feeling?
Salute, Sam. How you doing? I was going to say salute to Bubba, but he's out the picture right now. Salute to the MBK fam and the chat out there. I just want to, free throws. That to me, that was the biggest thing that cost us this game today. We hit, 2 or 3 more of those free throws, we win the ball game. That's literally the difference. And I understand there's ebbs and flows of the game. Maybe the situations are different depending on who has the lead or what have you. But again, that's just, you got to be able to knock your free throw shots down. Sam, I do agree with you. I think that RJ should have been the one playmaking in that situation instead of Randle, right? And probably set Randle up for something, a shot off the ball. But then people will say, well, Randle shouldn't be the one taking the last shot, right? People will say that as well. I'm not saying you would say that, but a lot of people will make that argument as well. So I think, the play was still a good play that we got to RJ. He got a pretty decent look and he couldn't hit it. So I'm not really mad at that situation, but I do agree with you that it should have been RJ doing the one playmaking in that situation instead of Randle. In regards to, there's a lot of people saying that, this is basically Tibbs' fault, right? Because Tibbs didn't call the right play. I agree with you. I think it was poor execution. If you look at that play, I'm not sure if you are going to put it back up, but whoever was guarding the inbounder was actually preventing the ball from going to RJ. They were forcing the Knicks to pass the ball out instead of passing it in, which forced that pass to kind of go to Randle. And then there was no one to really flash right there at the 3-point line in between where Randle was and the rest of the guys in the paint. So to me, I just made it much more tougher. And I do think that there was a lack of execution rather than Tibbs intentionally going to Randle in that situation. I don't think he was trying to go to Randle at all. Look where he caught the basketball.
You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
think he was trying to go to Randle at all in that situation. Although there was a down screen for Randle. I think there were multiple options. You know what I mean? And then you
Right.
took whatever option was available to you. You know, the best option that was available.
I thought quickly should have kind of flashed in the middle, but he was like kind of like just getting out the way. But I think he should have flashed in the middle right there to like have like a 3-level kind of thing where Burks can be able to get that ball in. But really did the Cavaliers play really good defense on that last one. They kind of forced Randle to get the ball in that area, and it just wasn't a good shot. So it looks like, you know, it's Tibbs' fault, it's Randle's fault for calling for the ball, but I don't think that's the case at all. Just a tough loss. You know, we got to be able to knock our free throws down, and I think we could have came out. I do like our defensive effort overall, though. I think our defensive effort was really good in this game. Julius Randle had some steals on Evan Mobley. I thought he played a really good defense on Evan Mobley. We got Kevin Love, you know, some open shots throughout the game, probably in the third quarter or whatever. But overall, I think our defense was really good.
Yeah, you know, in situations like this, in the last play, I got it up on the screen now. In the last play, I think I don't like to have people near the inbounder, right? I like to have my players away from the inbounder, screens being set so that those who you want having the ball are coming towards the inbound, you know, the person inbounding the basketball. Because I think it gives you more space to work with when trying to get free. When you got guys already near the inbound, I just think it's tough. You know what I'm saying? And listen, when you have people away from the inbounder, your players away from the inbounder coming towards the inbounder, you force the defense to come to you, because if they don't come to you, then you could just throw the ball over top, right? And then they can catch it for an open shot. That's just my opinion, but of course I don't coach in the NBA. You know what I mean? I don't get paid a lot of money to coach, so, you know.
If you look at this play, like, first of all, Cleveland has their tall lineup out there, right? So they were doing everything to try to get in the passing lanes and things of that nature. But if you see where Randle's at, Randle's near almost near half court, near the logo. That little space right there, free throw line extended between that and the 3-point line, that's a space for Quickly to come right there and catch the ball and try to get something off a curl. You know, he had, I think that was Evan Mobley on him. He could have caught that off a curl, probably get like a little floater play, get to the free throw line. He's the best free throw shooter on the team. Right. So to me, I think that would have probably been a better deal. But, you know, obviously it didn't happen. And I think, again, I just think it's poor execution more than anything. Not blaming the coach, not blaming Thibodeau. I think it's poor execution.
Yeah, I think it was definitely some poor execution out there. You know, I mean, I think there could have been a better play and there could have been better execution. So it's probably both. You know what I mean? Let me get to a couple of super chats here. Big shout out to Eddie F. He said, you know who didn't play in the clutch? Fournier, Walker, and Burks. What's their value to the club? I guess I'll answer that by saying, you know, Fournier has been playing well lately. He didn't play well today, right? He only had 7 points, but, you know, he's been playing better lately, right? We can't deny that. He's been playing better lately. As far as, like I said, with Walker, you know, I'm a little bit done with that whole experiment. I'm ready for it to be over with. You know what I mean? I'm okay. Just go ahead and put Burks back in there if you want to. Whatever. I'm done with the whole Kemba Walker thing. And, you know, Alec Burks, I don't know. Listen, I'll tell you this. He's not been able to find consistency in his role on this team. Because, you know, he's asked to be a super sub, and then he's asked to be the starting point guard, and then go back down and be a super sub, and then back up to a starting point guard. You know, he's a guy that, you know, has bounced around the league because he's already not a consistent player. And there's, I mean, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? That's just who he is. You know, that's the reason why he's not a superstar. Most players in the NBA are not consistent players. That's why he's not an all-star. But now you're asking him to be consistent while bouncing from this role to that role. You know, that's tough. That's just my opinion on the matter with Alec Burks. Do we need him to produce? Of course we do. But, you know, can we at least give him something consistent, you know, a consistent role that he can just rock with that role? And I understand he's doing what he has to do for this team right now. So I'm not mad at him. Lewis Wilkinson, he said, why did they stop going to Grimes? If the Knicks made free throws, we would have won the game. Listen, Quentin Grimes was playing a good basketball game. The thing with Quentin Grimes is, at this point in his career, you have to set him up for an open three. That opportunity may not always come.
Yeah, he can't get his own shot.
You see what I'm saying? Right. He's not getting his own shot. So it's not like you're giving the ball to Grimes and letting him, just penetrate to the basket or letting him take 2-3 dribbles and pull up. Right? We haven't seen that game from him yet. So right now, we need people to set him up for an open three. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to say keep going to Grimes because that three may not come available. Donald Cannon said, Sim, the drawn-up play was highway robbery. These bum players might as well bring up the G League squad to play. Execution, man. Execution will win you or lose you basketball game. Anyway, let's go on to some other matters. Let's just go back to Kemba Walker for a minute. Would you just go ahead and take Kemba Walker out of the lineup, or do you think Tom Thibodeau was afraid of the fanfare?
I think, so early in the season, I was, I obviously wasn't a proponent of taking Kemba out the starting lineup because I felt that it was too early. At this point in the season, we already seen Tibbs do it. I think fans are kind of used to that already. I think the team was playing better offensively without Kemba Walker, particularly RJ Barrett. And I know RJ had a pretty productive game today. But again, when you have Kemba Walker out there, someone who needs the ball in his hands, you take those possessions away from RJ and from Randle. And I just kind of think it throws everything off. So I am currently leaning towards not playing Kemba Walker at all. I will try to look for trade suitors, someone that will take him on. Reportedly, Dallas is interested in Kemba Walker. He has some ties to their organization, and I will do whatever I can to try to move Kemba Walker. Worst case scenario, I'd waive him. I'll waive him. I think he just creates, because of his injuries, he just creates a lot of inconsistency for this team, not just for himself, but for the other players as well, like Burks and like some of the rest of the guys. So.
Yeah,
I can't believe it, Sim. Josh is 100. He's right for once. 80%. He's right once. No, what's up, Jones? I do agree with what you're saying. If Dallas is interested, they have like 13 Knicks already. Why not make it?
You said if they're so is there rumors out there that Dallas is interested in Kemba Walker?
Yeah, so I was watching a blog. There's like a blogger that did an interview with some Knicks podcasters, and she said that Kemba Walker has ties to the organization. Yeah. And they really appreciate Kemba Walker, and they would love to have him back. And they think that he would fit perfectly next to Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, if that's
let's do it. Let's
true.
do it.
I mean,
let's make it happen.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson, give me Jalen Brunson.
Let's make it happen right now. Call Dallas up, make that thing pop, man.
Man, they're gonna, so they might as well change this to the New York Dallas. But I do agree with you though, Josh and Sim. I think, and you know what's it's sad though, because I know Kemba Hart really is in it, and he's trying to do the right thing, be positive, but it's just not working here, man. It really isn't. Like, I do agree with you, Josh. I think when he is in the game, it throws RJ and Randle off a little bit. And he just doesn't have the star power he did with the Hornets to demand the ball from Randle so that he can be a point guard. He just doesn't have that cachet no more. Like you said, I'll probably give him to Dallas if they're interested, or cut him next year, or do something, get a second rounder for him. But I think Kemba's time with the Knicks pretty much over. I'd rather have Burks because I'm honestly getting frustrated with Burks too, because these last couple of games have just been crappy performances. But you also got to see what Sim's saying is that you're asking him one game to be the starter, next game to come off the bench and be the spark plug, next game to be a starter, next game to be off the bench. Yo, these players are this is not, sometimes I really do think people, I know we all play 2K, but I really think people got to stop thinking like an NBA game is 2K where, I'm going to have Russell Westbrook, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Torrey Hunton Jr. and Rondo on the team in the starting year. We're going to kill them. Yeah. It's not 2K, bro. You got to have players. Players got to get rhythm. I mean, Josh, Sim, we all played sports before. You got to get in rhythm. You got to get in rhythm so that you can understand. Once you know your role, you can get your rhythm in. then that's how you do it, man. But you keep making Burks do this and this, he's gonna frustrated because he's not scoring, and the fan base getting frustrated because he's coming out with these games having 0 points and just not finding his shot. So it's just a mess right now. It's a mess.
I think I want to respond to you, but I'm gonna let Sim read the super chat first. But I want to respond.
Yeah, let me
to
read the super chat. Fred Wong, thank you for the super chat, and I'm glad you put this in the super chat, forcing me to read it out. You said some of y'all are tripping with the Kemba bad defense hate. He held Garland under control tonight. He wasn't the reason we lost. Stop pushing the narrative. So, number one, I don't think anyone said that he's the reason that the Knicks lost. He wasn't even in the game in the fourth quarter. So, clearly, he wasn't the reason that the New York Knicks lost this basketball game.
No.
Right? He wasn't in the game to affect change in the fourth quarter. And that's an issue in and of itself, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Because when you talk about Darius Garland having 13 points and 12 assists, yeah, he didn't shoot that well. But you know what? A lot of that defense, most of that defense came from Quentin Grimes, buddy. Sorry to tell you that. Quentin Grimes was playing really good defense on Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not feeling the way that it's fitting right now with Kemba Walker. That's just that. Not feeling the way that it's fitting.
Sam, Isaiah mentioned something about Kemba Walker not having that cachet, per se, to take the ball away from Randle. I don't think it's that. I'm just talking about the fit on the team, and I think that's what Sim's getting at. The fit with RJ Barrett and with Randle in the starting lineup. Like, all three of those guys basically need the ball. All three of them need the ball. And when Kemba's out there, I understand that we want a point guard and we want the point guard to be the one to orchestrate, but our best playmakers on this team right now is literally Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. To me, that's who I think the offense needs to run through. Let those guys facilitate based off the double teams and the mismatches that they draw, right? And the point guard position. So at the point guard position, we need someone who's a secondary ball handler who doesn't need the ball in their hands in order to be effective. And that's where Burks, hold on real quick. That's where Burks kind of comes in. Burks does need the ball, and I think we're limiting what Burks can do at the starting point guard position. That's why I said I never thought that he should have been there. But as far as totality and like best case scenario for the Knicks right now, with Rose being out, it just makes sense to have Burks at that position rather than Kemba for the entire team.
But let's make something clear though, Josh. In the beginning of the offseason, when we found out we were going to get Kemba, I think we all agree that one of the big things that we were happy about was that we finally got a point guard to take the ball out of Julius Randle's hand, because we seen during the Atlanta series that, hey, maybe the ball in his hand isn't the best option. And that's why we were all pretty hyped about that. Okay, we getting Kemba Walker. We have a point guard that actually has, I'm not going to say that Julius Randle doesn't respect the people that are point guards, but let's be real. He had Alfred Payton as a point guard. Playmaker-wise, I will give you credit. Defensively, he was good. But having Kemba, we thought this dude had the cachet. He had the merit around the league to, give me the ball. I'm gonna distribute the offense. I'm gonna be the playmaker. Julius Randle, you go here, you go there, you do this. That's how I feel like a lot of us thought Kemba Walker was gonna be until we see what Kemba Walker is now. And
Agreed.
that's why I say it's important that, this offseason or maybe next season that you get you a point guard. You go get you if you get like a SGA, DeJounte Murray, a Jalen Brunson, I feel like those guys can be the ones to be like, I got the ball. I'm going to control the offense. I'm going to control the pace. Julius Randle, you get in the post, or, we set up something for you. I feel like that would be a lot better than what we're doing now, because no disrespect to Randle, this year, the playmaking to me isn't fully there. It's there, but it's not fully there how it was last year, where, you just felt like the team was getting more opportunities.
That's because he was hitting his shots more last year, right? He was more efficient from the field. So obviously, when someone is more efficient from the field, then it's gonna, playmaking becomes a lot easier when your shots are going down. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know. You know what I mean? And plus, people are worried about Cam Reddish. You move if Kemba Walker's not playing, at least at this point, without Derrick Rose there, it would give Cam Reddish that space there in that second unit. I'm not surprised that Cam Reddish didn't play today. Are you guys any thoughts on that at all? I know there are a lot of people upset that Cam Reddish didn't play. I looked at it when he came in, knowing that we were giving up a guy who didn't play, who was not a rotational piece, and then we had to find a way, or the Knicks had to find a way to fit him in the rotation. I mean, who couldn't see that issue coming? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there's an issue with Cam Reddish or anything like that right now. You know, he seems to be, he did it right in Atlanta. I would expect that he's going to do it right here. You know what I mean? But obviously that's a topic of conversation that's going to continue to come up for the entire time that he's not playing. You know what I mean? Or getting burned. So any thoughts on the Cam Reddish situation? Go ahead, Big Bubba.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I was a little upset that Cam didn't play today because I just felt like, and it was gonna be a problem, Tim, because when you trade a player that didn't play in your lineup in your rotation for a player that wants to get more minutes, it's gonna be hard. But I just feel like from the way Brooks played tonight, the way Evan Fournier played tonight, to me there should be no reason why he didn't get minutes. I don't get it. I don't. Why?
Thibodeau told you. Listen, he was trying to tell everybody from the time that he got here. People wasn't listening, and people thought Mark Berman was just trying to cause trouble and all of that stuff, right? But he told people right off top. He said, "Yeah, he's coming in. We got a lot of guys at this position. We'll see how it goes." He said the other day, you know, I'm really thinking about just playing with 9 guys. I mean, you know, we might be waiting for a little while for him to get consistent minutes because he's happy with Quentin Grimes.
Oh, see, but
he is happy with Quentin Grimes, and
so but this is the part that really, I think we're all happy with Quentin Grimes. My thing is that you can never have enough good defending wings. And again, I'm not saying Cam is the end all be all. He's going to be the next this, and that when it comes to being a wing defender. But I feel like what Cam brings can be helping us with this team, can help us with rotations, defensive rotations. He can help us, you know, with guys who can put the ball on the floor that can actually do something. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, Evan Fournier has been playing better. He has. But again, right, he's going to have games like this, and hopefully he doesn't have a stretch like that. And then with Burks right now, Burks hasn't been playing good either. And then you have Kemba Walker, who just shouldn't be in a lineup no more, personally. Sorry, Kemba. But to me, this is the opportunity for Cam to be there because, again, he's a 6'8" wing. The dude has good wingspan. He can put the ball on the floor. He can do a few things.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you about his intangibles. I like the kid. I get it.
And when he did start, Sim, he averaged 18 points when he did start. And again, I know those numbers could be inflated because he had big scoring numbers when he did that, but that's to me still something. The games he did start, he did give you 18 points on great efficiency on good shots from the 3-point line when he was playing for the Hawks. And I know that's two different systems, personnel, but I think you got to put that in consideration where Cam should be getting some minutes.
Yeah, you know what? I think he's gonna be sitting down for a little while, man. Gmo, what's going on, man? You know, hey, guess what? We didn't trade Evan Fournier for Cam Reddish and Gallo.
I was hoping that was gonna happen.
Your thoughts right now on Cam Reddish not playing?
I think look. Tom Thibodeau has his way of doing things. Remember when Mitch was here a few seasons ago? What Tom Thibodeau did? Oh, Mitch, I don't know who's gonna start. No one's looking good. Oh, all this other stuff. What happened? Mitch Robinson ends up starting the season, averages 27 minutes a game, which is career high. I know he had 3 seasons at that point, and was averaging a double-double. He was a focal part of the offense. Tom Thibodeau, now granted, this sounds psychotic. We are losing games, and people are like, oh, just put in Cam. But Tom Thibodeau, I think in his head, he's like, look, the development, if you follow the program, the development, the process is more important than the instant results.
I agree.
Right? So that's how he's going to develop Cam. To say, look, I'll lose games if you don't, and I'm not saying he's not getting it or whatever. It's I'll lose games to respect the process. Now we're getting pissed now, but if that means that Cam is a better defender, because remember, everybody's talking about Killer Cam, all this stuff, but Cam was an incomplete player with the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really get proper development in Atlanta. He didn't get proper development at Duke. So there's a process that Tom Thibodeau's taking his kid through. I just think we got to be patient. Like everybody just wants this kid to come in and score 30 points. Like that's not. He may have those highs. He had games where he could give you 36 against the Magic, but he has games where he shoots just as bad as IQ, chucking shots from outside and all that stuff. So Knicks got to be patient. Cam is going to play. They use a first-round pick. He's essentially our first-round pick probably for the season. We're probably going to trade or flip it, the pick that we have somehow. I'm expecting us to do something with that, right? So we got to be patient. He's fine. I know everybody's anxious, but chill out. Grimes is producing. He's doing well. I mean, so let's chill out on Cam, man.
Yeah, I agree. You know, just let it happen. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? He's just getting there. He's got to learn to, you know, whatever the Knicks are doing, he's got to learn what Tom Thibodeau is expecting of him. And I know people are going to point to Derrick Rose and say, well, last year Derrick Rose came and he played 25 minutes as soon as he got off the plane. But Derrick Rose has played for Tom Thibodeau for mad years.
He got clout across the league.
So, you know, he knows exactly what Tom Thibodeau wants and expects. There's a difference.
You want to know Tom Thibodeau? The first game Derrick Rose is here. It was against the Heat, right? We needed, and Derrick Rose was I don't say he's abusing, but he was the only guard to effectively break that Heat defense, right?
Yep.
Remember Derrick Rose sat out for I think he wasn't in that final possession. That was RJ, right? So Tom Thibodeau has his process. Mm-hmm. He has his guys, he has his rotations, right? There's something to it. Now, look, if Cam Reddish comes out, he's a way better player than expected. All this will be for naught, right? I personally think, Sim, ever since you talked about Armageddon on January 23rd with the roster, I was like, you know what? Look, this season was cute. I'm just looking towards to next season. So let's just take it. It is what it is. It's going to be a development season once Cam gets in. I think Cam is going to be fine. I like what Tom Thibodeau is doing in terms of having this kid sit and understand the system and kind of also humbling him. The kid came in talking about, I can still think I'm a star. And that's not necessarily bad, but Cam Reddish has had issues with attitude. Not in a bad way. He's not a bad off-the-court type of guy, but some people are like, he might be a little immature here and there. And I know he had Lloyd Pierce who's doing some BSM, but he does have some growing up to do. And I think that Tom Thibodeau is trying to tap into that. So let's be patient. Let's allow Tom Thibodeau to play his mind games. Now, look, if he doesn't play him for this season and the whole next season, it's like, all right, come on, what is this, right?
You would think that Cam Reddish is a Tom Thibodeau type of player. When you look at a guy like Jimmy Butler, right? You know, he's a Tom Thibodeau type of guy. So, yeah, I think we do need to be patient and just let the process play out and see what happens when we get to the trade deadline. Because I think, let me tell you something. You know, based on these next couple of weeks, when we get to the trade deadline, man, the Knicks might be sellers. You never know. Based on these next couple of weeks, man. Looking at who we're playing, I hate to say it, and I don't want to make people to be like, yo, Sim, why you being negative? I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just looking at who we have to play.
No, Sim, come over to the dark side with me and Guillermo. Come on to the dark side.
And the trajectory of the team right now, and just how things just you can look at it and see just things ain't right. It's just not the same, right? The glue ain't there, and we'll see what happens when we get to February 10th. There could be some big changes with this basketball team. There could be some changes with this team. You know what I mean? Nobody, RJ might be working himself into being safe.
What you see, Isaiah? You see this, right?
RJ might be working
I see it. He does this.
You see this by your man, right? You see how Sim is wilding out, right?
How am I wilding out? I said the dude might be working himself into being safe. You know my stance. Any player in the league can be traded at any time for the right price. You know my stance.
That is true. That is your stance. But hold up.
That's my stance. So what I'm saying is he might be working himself into being safe, where everybody else is probably, we get the right offer, is a done deal.
But Sim, your stance is very strong. I agree with you on that. That's you're right. You know what I'm saying? Is your stance still that Randle's an elite ISO scorer?
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. I want to go home. I want to go home.
Listen.
Hey,
Let me tell-
hey, Gimbo.
Hold on. Can you chill out, Isaiah? That man is not an elite ISO scorer right now. I'm not afraid to admit when I make a mistake. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to admit when I make a mistake. Right now, Randle's playing like trash. He's not trash, but he's playing like trash. He's not playing good.
DeMarco.
He's not playing good. I'm not afraid of that.
Tim, first of all, Sam, that wasn't your take. That was my take. You don't have to.
But listen, Josh.
I was going after him. I swear my life.
But hold up. But look.
I know, that was my take.
But look, Josh, this is what Isaiah does, right? Hold up. Isaiah, chill out.
Oh, here we go.
This is
Here
what
we
Isaiah
go.
does, right? You know, he gets in, he tries to set something up, call up Gmo, hey, come in, say this, say that. You know what I mean? I know how it goes.
No, Gimbo, show the text message.
Listen,
I didn't text you.
Hold up. But
You
see,
didn't text me.
but listen, I don't back off of anything that I say. If I say it, I meant it. And if I was wrong, then I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? The geniuses know how to admit when they were wrong and move in another direction. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Gimbo, hold on. Is this the same dude that said Kevin Knox is a 3-level scorer? Well, better than KP?
Hey.
Is this the same dude?
Hey, you know what?
Who still can't admit? Who still couldn't admit it?
Hold up. I still think he's more versatile than KP. He just doesn't have, just like a lot of people said, he just does not have the fight in him. He just does. He has all the tools. Being versatile. Hold up. Being versatile and being better are two very different things. Two very different things.
I love how you do this, Sid. You do this a lot.
Being versatile and being better are two very different things. That's all I'm saying.
Sid, you know what kills me, Sid? Hold on. You know what kills me, this dude? Last year, look, all right, we were wrong for that 1 year. Y'all got that rocks off. Yeah. Yo, Randle, he did his thing. But Sid,
again, a genius is not afraid to understand when they made a mistake. That's why a genius is a genius. That's all.
You know what?
Can we go back to talking about this basketball?
I'll give Sim his credit. I was only joking, but Sim did call out Halliburton, who's killing, who now we all want to trade for. And he also called out. I called out Cole Anthony too, but I'll give it to Sim. But it's essentially, we said if he came to the Knicks, he'd be trash.
Cole Anthony would be trash if he was on the Knicks right now. I don't care what nobody says.
Sim knows it's just the whole Randle.
He's not playing like that at all. How can you defend? He's not playing like that at all. You know what I mean? He's going through whatever he's going through right now. You know what I mean?
Would you as a coach, when you talk, what do you think it is? Because it could be partially, some mental stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm not getting into his family life, but I don't know what it is with him. He's not letting the crowd get to him. And I said it. I know people might think I'm a Randle hater. I said that when he was getting killed, I was like, I hope that Tom Thibodeau will allow him space to get it mentally, to get to that next level, to understand, okay, the league is caught up to you. Maybe you're not as hot as last season. But as a coach, you know more than all of us. How would you, besides sitting him, which is easy, what would you do to try to get Randle in a better mental frame of mind?
Man, it's tough because, as a coach, you would hope that they know if there's something going on outside of basketball. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for him. I'm just saying if a coach would know if there's something going on outside of basketball for a player, right? So if there's something going outside of basketball, you would hope that they're giving them space and room to handle whatever those situations are. But if it's strictly basketball, I don't know how you remedy it without beginning to take minutes away because it's hurting the team. How do you remedy something that is basketball related without the biggest consequence being on the table? Right? I mean, how do you begin to fix that? I don't know how you do. Obviously, with certain people, like I have players now. I have a very, very young point guard now. on my team, right? She's in the 8th grade. Okay, and she's starting on a varsity level team. And I kind of put myself in a situation because while she's okay, she's struggling on a few things. And, so now I'm like, man, maybe I made the wrong decision by making her the starter, but she was the best player we had at that position. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should have started this other young lady who's not as good as her, but maybe mentally or maybe there's certain things that she could have picked up on a little bit better. But now, if I take her out the starting lineup, I might crush her confidence altogether. Right? So now I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how do I make this work? You know what I mean? And keep her confidence high, but still giving her the support that she needs. And sometimes as a coach, you put yourself in that type of situation, which I did, but I figured out some ways and still trying to give her the support that she needs. Makes my job a little bit, I've really got to be there, standing up, kneeling down, side by side, in every part of the floor, trying to talk her through certain things that's happening out there. But it's almost like that with Julius Randle. How do you, whatever he's dealing with, how do you approach it? If it's all basketball related, how do you approach it without sitting him down? Because, sitting him down could either, bruise his ego or hurt his confidence a little bit more. You know what I mean? How do you approach it? It's difficult. I don't know how, it all depends on what's going on with him. I don't know how you do it. And you know what else hurts? But you know what hurts even a little bit more is while Obi played well tonight, he's not consistent with the play. Now, if Obi was like really, really playing well and really putting pressure on, then it's easier to say, I got to sit you down because we got this guy who's not having these issues, who's really producing. So it makes it even tougher because Obi's not doing this every night.
That's true, but I would have left him out there, man.
Oh, tonight?
Obi is a confidence guy, right? And that's not to say, because Randle went 1 for 3 in that fourth quarter, right? Like Obi, and again, it's not to say that Obi is. I'm not one of those. It's just that there's certain games when he has that confidence up. That little drive he had on Kevin Love, the shots he was hitting from the outside. I would keep that in and try to get as much as that as possible. But the whole Randle thing, it's tough because you're also looking at your closer. But there have been games where Tom Thibodeau's done it. But it's weird. It's like when Tom Thibodeau gets angry, he'll put the young guys in. Sometimes they make a comeback. This game was more as close. You could have kept Obi in there a little bit longer, but I don't know what Randle Sim. I don't know what it is, man. Like his screens suck. His playmaking is just not as good as it was. I know sometimes he has 8 assists here and there, but he'll have 7 turnovers.
Hey, Guillermo, before you go, Josh, I just want to say, is this not who he is? And I'm not saying like this extreme Randle, but let's be real. I know you're going first on that word, but take out last season. What's Julius Randle?
I mean, even if you take out last season, right, and then you have the season before and you have this season for the Knicks, but the seasons
that's mediocre, son.
Can I finish my conversation? But the seasons leading up to that, he was on an upswing from the time that he was a rookie till he got to the Pelicans. He was on an upswing, right? He came to the Knicks, and he had a bad season. His 3-point shooting wasn't there. Obviously, his 3-point shooting was there last year, but it's not there this year. All right. So to say, is this him? Maybe it is, because, you got 2 seasons like this surrounding, one good season. But I don't know if you can look at all the previous seasons to him, coming to the Knicks and say that's him, because, he was still a player that was on the rise. I think you've got to have, you don't know. You don't know. You still don't know.
So Sam, in regards to this whole Randle thing, I also think it's not just on Thibodeau, right? It's also about some of the veterans in that locker room, the Derrick Roses, the Taj Gibsons, or whatever. I think they also help in the process. They help a coach through this type of situation, right? You got to have some type of strength in that locker room with the veterans. Like I always say, like if you lose the veterans, you lose the entire locker room, right? And there's veterans who've been in the league longer than Julius Randle who can assist Tom Thibodeau in that process. It's not only on the coach, right? And Isaiah, in regards to your question, in regards to who Randle is, for last season, Randle was still a 19, 18, and 10 type of player, right? That's a lot of power forwards in the NBA are not giving you that. And I understand he's not giving you the same production he gave you last season. He's not shooting the ball the same, but 19 and 10 or whatever, that's Josh, pretty good. Hold on. You're not letting me finish. A lot of power forwards in the NBA are not giving you that, right? So I just think that, yeah, this probably is who Julius Randle is, but that's not bad, right? I think the reason why it looks bad to us is because, one, it's not the same from last season, and two, we all know Julius Randle's not a number one or probably not even a number two on a championship level team. But for this team, he is pretty much the number one option, right? That's why it's so important that you have other guys like RJ Barrett step up to help out in that type of situation. So I get it. He's not playing the same as he did last season, but I don't want to say he's playing a bad season. That's not what he's doing right now.
But Josh,
last season.
But I see, again, you're not putting it in context, right? So
let's put it in context.
So okay, this season he's playing like bad. He's playing bad. Last season, his best season so far in his career, right? The season before that, under David Thibodeau, it was horrible. He spent in the double team. It was inefficient. Yeah, he scored. Yeah, he had like 19 and 10. That was great, but it was inefficient numbers. Then the year before that, on the Pelicans, he was coming off the bench. He was even the discussion as being a six man. He was coming off of Anthony Davis, who was healthy in his prime. Anthony Davis on the Pelicans, and before that, he played a couple seasons with the Pelicans, coming off the bench. Then he was on the Lakers where he was young, under Kobe and all them. He was raw, but again, right? We're talking about a couple seasons. He was coming off the bench, which he looked real good. He looked real good coming off the bench behind Anthony Davis. Then he got with the Knicks, was inefficient the first year he was here. Great All-NBA season, All-Star season last year, and then he's playing bad. We gotta put this in context.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on.
If you take that good season out, he hasn't been good in New York.
Right. But I think when, I always talk about a player's development. Right. It's never a straight line up. Right? Never.
And
ever.
He was. But I'm like.
No, can I finish? Can I finish?
But still, I'm saying.
No, let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Let me finish. Jeez. A player's development is never a straight line up. It's up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down, and then up and then down, all the while continuing to go up. Right? Now, from his time, before he was with the Pelicans, he's with the Lakers, his production was going up. Got with the Pelicans, it went up. With the Knicks, his first year went down and then went up, and now it's going down again. You know what I mean? Only time would tell if it goes up again or if it stays or if it plateaus.
So Sam, but there's a difference between last season he played, you would say great, right? Isaiah, you mentioned the word great, right? Literally, the only difference from a production standpoint from last season to this season is his shooting from the outside. That's literally what the difference is. And hold on. Before last season, it was kind of the same thing, right? So Julius Randle's now coming back down to the mean of what he was normally doing before last season. There's a difference between bad, like abysmal, and great. There's a middle ground in there somewhere. And just because he's not having the same season he did last season doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad season. He's still turning the ball over at the same clip that he did last season, but you called it great, right? So there's a difference. And I think that if you want to put context in it, yeah, it's not as good as you thought he was going to be, but that doesn't mean it's completely bad.
But hold on.
A useless on the floor. That's a difference.
Hold on a second, Kim. Hold on. I'm sorry. But no, my thing is just, okay, you brought up the turnovers, right? Yeah. The thing with Randle last year was that he played with effort. There wasn't no bad body language. There wasn't no lack of defense, no closing out. He's not closing out like he did last year.
I disagree.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, that's
the reason why I disagree is because I think first of all, I think he I think he does play hard and he does have defensive lapses. And
I don't think he plays hard.
I do. I think he does, and I think he had defensive lapses. He had defensive lapses last year, but people forgave it because he was shooting well.
Well, the environment that Julius Randle's played in, because it's not just a shooting, right? He also, his assists went up, like doubled from like his typical career or his career high before last season, right? I think he was in the perfect situation. This guy still takes, mid-range shots that aren't rewarding, like these long mid-range shots. He hit them at a high clip, right? He was just on last season for whatever it was. He had Bullock as well. A guy could just kick out on the outside and hit shots. RJ Barrett's three-point shooting shot up maybe late first half of the season, whatever. So it seemed everything was probably obviously higher usage. The offense kind of built around him through necessity because we had Elfrid Payton and a whole bunch of, veterans and stuff like, guys who aren't truly starters or those good of players. So with Julius Randle, it's like, I think last season was just kind of like it was a fluke season. Everything aligned perfectly for him, right? And if you look at Julius Randle, even when he was at UK, you never put Julius Randle in that he's an elite playmaker mode. Like it was always him being physical, rolling to the basket, north-south type of player, strong. I was not brute in a bad way, but just explain it. Yeah. So he just had a fluke season last year, bro. And I think that if you look at it now, I mean, the offense runs better when he's actually in motion or playing away from the action versus just taking the ball up top, slowing the offense down. And I think they're trying to rekindle what they had last season. It's not a offense conducive to making everybody better or to making the offense consistent, good enough to beat teams on a night in, night out basis. Just Julius Randle just had a fluke season. He's not that type of player. You get a point guard, to what Josh talked about before. If you get, like, say if you had a Chauncey Billups type point guard, a Jason Kidd point guard, a guy that could command, I guess, that respect. Yeah, but Julius Randle's not mellow. Like, he, even without a point guard, Julius Randle should not be that guy that you have to respect. And he should be a guy like you were hinting at before. If he's not following the program, he's not setting screens, he's not making the proper plays, sit him down. He's not above reproach.
I still want to see. I mean, we'll see if it happens on the Knicks or not, and we don't know what Leon Rose and those guys got cooked up or what they're thinking. But last year, because of the season that he had last year, I think there's different types of defenses queuing in on and loading up in different ways. You don't know, and he could go to another team, and it happen or does not happen. You don't know if there is another change to say, okay, I figured this out now. Now let's see, how I take it into another season. I mean, that's and when I say development is not a straight line, that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You play one way, and guys learn how you play, and then they start to shut this down, and then you say, okay, let me go try to develop this, and you develop this, and you come back another year, and now you're able to do this to beat what they were doing. Now they figure out a new way to stop you, and you go and you try to develop that. All right. That's the way growth goes in the NBA. That's the way growth goes with basketball overall. That's
wait, hold on, wait. Can I say something quick, Grandma?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Grandma. Man. Go ahead.
Oh, you just. Oh my Lord.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Say what you're gonna say.
So, how long do we use this development? How long do we do this development? How long do we say this for Julius Randle? Because to me, right. Yeah, I don't know about you. Again, I never played professional basketball in my life. Never did. Football kind of guy, But when do we say, like, you still don't recognize the double team? You still not passing out on those kind of things. There's certain things he does that just, to me, just doesn't make sense. Again, like that one play, it just baffled my mind. Why you have a rookie, Evan Mobley, that can't move at the top of the key, basically, and you go double team him. And you leave your guy that's been shooting good threes wide open, and he makes the shot. Those are the things that what I'm saying. With Julius Randle, he's 27 years old. He's entering his prime, but how long do we keep saying development? Like, I don't get it. Like, and again, I'm not trying to compare them like to the LeBrons and all these guys, but I'm gonna be honest with you, those top players that we talk about, we don't say they're developing at that age. We don't say that they're still developing.
Not a top player. That's the point you don't understand. He's not at that level. That's why you can't compare them. And that's why you can't look at them and say that they're the example.
But Josh, here's the thing, though. Here's the kicker.
We paid him. Is that what you about to say?
Yes, we paid. Yes, Josh, we paid him $117 million.
He is worth that contract. He is worth that contract.
So what he's doing this year is worth it.
Yes, he's worth that contract.
You out of your
only
mind.
making 19. He's the 35th. Listen, Isaiah, he's the 35th highest paid player in the NBA right now. 35th. We're not paying him max money. And look around the NBA and look at other players. Look at other players at his position and what they're making with the production.
Julius this year is giving you the production that he got paid for. That's what you're telling me.
What I'm telling you is they didn't pay him like last season. They didn't pay him to say that he was going to do that perennially. That's not the type of money that he got. $19, $20 million is not a lot in today's NBA. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's really not. 20 years ago, when Kevin Garnett got paid a $100 million contract, that was a big contract at the time. Nowadays, that's not a lot.
So he's not getting paid $19 million. Okay, he's getting paid $19 million this year. Okay, bro. Next year, as that contract kicks in, it's $117 million.
How much? He's not getting $117 million next season. How much is he making next season, Isaiah?
What, 25 million, whatever?
Okay, and what I'm telling you is, if you look around the NBA for players with his production, that's not a lot of money.
Josh, where's his production? It sucks. He's shooting 40% from the field, bro. He's shooting like 30% from three. What production?
Only thing I'll say, there are hidden costs to that, right? So he isn't expensive, right? The only thing with Julius Randle, people say he can move the contract. The thing it also is about what is he taking away from the team? Because you still have to see what you have in RJ Barrett, right? If he's that guy, you still have to see what you have in Cam Reddish, right? So it's not just the money. The money is nothing. It's whatever, because the contract's going to go up in, I think, 2025, 175 projected.
Right.
But you also, again, you go in night out, and does Randle's performance, do you look at this guy to say, yo, we could build with this guy? Like, has he made that? Because you paid him. So you're hoping that he could be that foundational piece. And we still having issues about his maturity, about his consistency. Even if he is growing, he's still getting paid to go out there and give you something that you could build off of, right? Is he blocking other guys? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying there are other hidden costs to that.
I get it.
I don't think that he is.
I mean, he's not blocking RJ. Clearly,
that's not true. That really? They started shifting the offense away from Randle, and look at RJ's numbers the past 10 games. I think he's averaging like 20.
But is that Randle's fault though?
But wait a minute.
Part of that is Randle.
But hold up. But wait a minute. You said they started to shift the offense from Julius to RJ, right? And RJ is performing. So how is it blocking his performance if they shifted the offense and he's performing, and Randle is still out there on the floor? How is it taken away from RJ?
RJ isn't the only guy on the team. You still have other players on the team where the Julius Randle-centric offense, when RJ runs in the pick and roll, when RJ runs in the pick and roll, other guys get opportunities. When Julius Randle's out there, we're still talking about a guy who's 26, 27, who still doesn't understand double teams.
I get that. Numbers, I don't think he's taken away from anybody else.
Numbers, IQ's a head case, right? I understand IQ. I'm not talking about the head case stuff, right? But if you look at his numbers, right, without Julius Randle, they are better. And I don't know about everybody else in the team, but you talk about the Julius Randle-centric offense. It's not conducive to get other guys looks, right? So that's the cost that you have. You're wasting time with a guy that you paid who isn't consistent enough to say, hey, we have this base foundation. We could build around him. No, now you're going to RJ Barrett. You're tinkering to find what works. And obviously RJ Barrett's looking better, but you've wasted time. Even the picks you have other guys like Obi Toppin.
RJ's in his third year. You wasted time? I mean, because if you go get another player that's better than Julius Randle, the ball is still going to be in that guy's hands, and so it's going to take. I don't think it's taken away from any other player and their development.
Really,
I don't. RJ is performing. RJ is coming into his own with Julius Randle on the floor. He is literally coming into his own. And these guys are still getting the same amount of touches that they've been getting all season long. It's just RJ is performing better. And yes, it has shifted to RJ. So that is adding to RJ Barrett's development.
Yes.
So you talking about guys on this team where they were hinting and saying, yo, early this season, the bench, all this stuff about the bench.
But Randle's not playing with the bench.
No. Hear what I'm saying. It's not exactly.
So is he taking from Fournier's development or Kemba or Alec Burks?
Well, when he doesn't set proper picks and roll to the basket, yeah, you are. And I'm not even a fan of Fournier.
But is he taking from their development? You said players' development. Is he taking from their development? He's not taking from their development. He's clearly not taking from RJ's development. Maybe Obi.
People were complaining about Kemba Walker early this season, right? That they shouldn't have taken him out. Well, that's fine, right? Why was Kemba Walker also struggling? Guys weren't setting. Julius Randle, hey, dump it off. Hey, Julius Randle's not setting proper screens, so the defender resets and Kemba's all by himself. Now has to jack up a shot or make contested pass or whatever. Randle does a lot of things within this offense to stifle the production, the possible production from everybody else.
Mitchell Robinson didn't set screens either.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there saying he does, but Mitchell Robinson's not Randle. The ball's not. Mitchell Robinson's usage pales in comparison to Randle.
No. You said screen setting. You said screen setting. I'm not talking about with ball usage. I'm talking about screen setting.
We're talking about one thing. In the grand picture of it, Randle he should be a much more important part of the offense in terms of getting everybody, setting up for everybody else, and he doesn't. So you have a guy, Andy talks about all the time, about Randle, the two-man game. Part of it's not working because Randle sets terrible screens for Fournier. Doesn't create proper space for Fournier. And I still think Fournier has no excuse. He should be hitting his open shots.
Did you see how many open shots Evan Fournier had tonight? It had nothing to do with screens. It had nothing to do with screens. They were wide open shots, kickouts from Julius Randle. A lot. It's been the entire season. I can go back.
You've been making an argument too.
A mixtape the entire season of when Julius Randle has kicked the ball out to Evan Fournier for wide open threes.
Sim, I already said I agree with that. I don't know why we're arguing with that. I'm saying Julius Randle, even in instances where he has a two-man game with Fournier, runs it so poorly because he's a poor screener. How many times this season, Kemba Walker, he had the 44-point game. For instance, Kemba Walker had, I think it was John Collins on the skates from the outside in that 44-point game, whatever. Julius Randle's at the top of the key, begging for the ball, stopping the action.
Listen, nobody said that the man is perfect.
It's not about being perfect.
But I don't think he's taken away. I don't think if you take Julius Randle off the floor, all of a sudden Kemba Walker's an all-star? Hell no. Evan Fournier? Hell no. Hell no. Those guys have to take responsibility for the performance that they're putting on the floor. But everybody wants to push it to one guy? No. Could he? Obviously, he can do things better. That's not the point. Everybody on the floor can do things better. But no one's going to sit there and say
the most important player, Sim.
I get it.
The highest usage.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that. Nobody said that he's perfect. Nobody said that he's perfect. No one's even saying that he's your number one. He's a legitimate number one guy for the Knicks. He is. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to blame RJ's failures on him.
Oh, I didn't blame all of yo. I did not blame all of RJ's failures. I'm saying yes, but I'm not blaming all his failures, bro. I didn't say all his anyway. All I'm saying is that Randle's usage on this team, he's supposed to be a foundational piece. You paid him. And again, it's not a lot, but he's paid. He's used to be that guy, and he's been inconsistent on the maturity level. He's been inconsistent at best on the maturity level.
No, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
When you look at Randle, when you look at the offense, when we run the pick and roll outside of it, many times looks much more fluid. Now, granted, I still agree for what we have now until we make trades and move people around. Randle's still our best piece to win right now. Mm-hmm. It's just that in Randle's head, he's too inconsistent. One day you get the Spurs game. You get a game where he has 18 points, but he has 10 assists. He's setting screens, and the ball is moving. He's playing a selfless style of basketball. Next game, he might give you 30-something, 38 against the Chicago Bulls. I know we lost, but he gives you one of these crazy games. Then it goes back down to him giving you 4 points in the game. Then him fighting with the refs.
Right. You're right. That's the reason why he is where he is this season, because he's been inconsistent.
But hold on, but Sam,
you can't base your offense off of that. If I'm a coach, like you said, I'd agree. I'd bench a kid like, yo, bro, I gotta teach you a lesson. Like this.
Hey, I'm gonna get to you, Cole. I'm gonna get to you. I got you. I got you. I'm gonna get to you. Hold on. Let me finish saying what I'm saying though. Right? But is that? But then of course it goes back to. Is it Thibodeau or is it Randle?
It's both.
Is it Thibodeau who's saying, you know what, I'm gonna let this continue to go, right? Or is it Randle, or do you say, well, it's Randle's fault because he's out there on the floor. He's gonna play the way that he plays basketball. Thibodeau has to hold it accountable, in my opinion.
I agree.
I agree too.
He's got to hold it accountable.
Tom Thibodeau, here's the thing. Tom Thibodeau trusts too much in his generals. But here's the thing. His favorite generals back in the day were Derrick Rose at first. And then you had Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler will go out, give you 9 points, and set up everybody on a heat. He plays a selfless game despite the fact he's averaging like 20-some points. He's that great of a guy. I could trust my team. I'm gonna take a 10-game vacation. You run the team, Jimmy Butler. But he's doing the same thing with Randle, and Randle doesn't have the mental maturity, doesn't have that skill like Jimmy Butler has worked his way up to that. He doesn't have it, and you're still basing the offense through Randle. I just can't do it with that guy. So it's both of these guys, man.
All right, caller, you're live.
And
Tell
plus,
me where you're from, please.
Hey, how you doing? This is Mark from Brooklyn.
What's going on?
Loving the show, fellas.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with you, my brother. I think Randle is part of the problem. When you look at as far as how the flow of the game is going, too many times this season, and I've been watching the Knicks for a long time, I have never seen consistently the Knicks bench be better than the starters. That right there is an indictment on your leader. I've never seen in the NBA game throughout a season the bench outplay the starters consistently to where the coach has to sit the starters down and not even play them in the fourth quarter. I think part of the problem with Randle's shooting is that the fact that last year there were no crowds. So the depth perception was in his favor. And now that the crowds are back, he's back to shooting his same percentage. I think that Thibodeau really needs to change up the offense, make it a more player movement, ball movement offense, and pick up the pace because the bench is doing and playing for each other. And I feel like the starters, they don't play for each other. If Evan Fournier has a good game, it's usually because R.J. Barrett doesn't, and vice versa. And I think right now the coach needs to address the situation with the starters. Because really and truly, if the starters played for each other the way that they played last year, the way that the bench is playing, then, we'd be playing better. But it comes down to the new age NBA right now, where the youth, they don't know how to deal with success and come back being a better player and want hunger more. I mean, look at the Atlanta Hawks. You go from Eastern Conference, and they playing worse than we are. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, and you know what? One thing I think with this, with the starting unit, if you consider Kemba, Randle, RJ, Mitch, Fournier, there's no glue piece in there.
Exactly.
There's no glue piece, and I think that's really missing with that unit. There's not a glue guy. I mean, like, Reggie Bullock was kind of a glue guy, in my opinion, right? There's no glue guy in that lineup, and I think that really is a big issue there.
You're not lying.
Yeah,
you're not lying.
That's a big issue.
I just think that we're not playing for each other, and I think that as far as the starters go, the bench, you could see that they want to play for each other. A lot of games we could have lost that the bench brought us back and helped win. And I think, like the starters, it looks just like everybody's playing for themselves. And it's just been a bad season, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for my call.
Been a bad season. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being patient, too, my man. Appreciate
All
you.
right.
He was getting mad, too. So he's like, y'all dudes ain't going to finish arguing, man.
Yeah, he's like, you got to get to the callers, too. Hey, big shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for being patient, bro. Go ahead,
I just want to respond to this real quick. I like, people are saying that Randle's the one that's, kind of affecting other players' development. I would go as far as to say it's the total opposite. I think Randle's helping these guys develop. And listen, look at the lineup when Julius Randle was off the floor, when he wasn't playing those health and safety protocols, and we barely could score 80 points. Right? Everyone wanted to play the kids. And then we finally got the kids out there and the kids didn't do that well. Everyone was like, oh, we probably don't have the right kids that we need. You know what I'm saying? So I just think Randle, to me, I think he's helped RJ's game. I think what he did last season helped RJ, right? I think Randle drawing double teams on the floor helps RJ. Now, if you want to talk about Randle's not doing off the floor, like the mental stuff and the arguing with the referees and all that, that's a different conversation. But what he's doing on the floor, leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists,
on bad efficiency.
Yeah, but we're talking about developing other players on the team, right? Randle supposedly hindering other players' development. I don't think that's the case.
Who does he make better?
I don't think.
To
me, he makes RJ better.
I said the Randle-centric offense. It's not Randle himself, because I still want Randle. Randle on the pick and roll. The second Pacers game was the best screening Randle I've seen. I'm like, why does this dude do this all the time? So it's not Randle the player. It's Randle the Randle-centric offense. It's timely production and growth from other players.
But that's
the
on
thing
Tibbs.
with RJ Barrett, not saying he didn't develop with the Randle double team. That definitely helped. But RJ Barrett, Tom Thibodeau was trying to get this guy to be a corner shooter because that was his system last year. So it was going to come probably regardless, even with Randle. Even if we lose by 30, winning by 30, whatever, with or without Randle, it's going to come. The thing with Randle is the Randle-centric offense. He's not that type of player. If I had a Jokic, that's different. The guy is smart enough to lead an offense. Randle tonight. Randle drives against, who was it tonight? Had the advantage. Pass it back out for a turnover. You're trusting your offense in a low IQ player who you're not sure is going to get it skill-wise or up here. There's a reason why, and it's not just, there's a reason why the bench rotations, right? Even when they're mixing, playing against stars, whatever, why sometimes look better. And I'm not part of the play the kids just automatic. I'm not a part of that group. But there's a reason why they play better, especially with Derrick Rose. There was ball movement. There was a pick and roll offense. There was a foundation to build. So I could put this guy here. Guys aren't running into each other. Guys aren't just waiting on the outside, waiting for Randle to pass it. I mean, there's something resembling proper basketball. Randle has the ability. He just doesn't execute well enough for me to build off.
I agree with you. I agree with you. What I'm saying is the Knicks didn't have someone else that they can run the offense through at the time. Like RJ Barrett right now, now they're starting to run the ball through RJ. But to me, earlier this season and even last season, RJ wasn't at the level where they can start doing that with a higher usage rate for RJ because his mentality wasn't aggressive enough. He even said it himself.
Wait, now,
hold on.
His mentality has gotten more aggressive over the past couple of weeks. Come on, you got to.
But Sim, no.
Gotta say something real quick. RJ Barrett came out of college with the ball in his hands, right, at Duke. Fizdale and his terrible coaching, Mike Miller's terrible coaching, whatever they're doing with him, right? RJ Barrett last season, now his numbers aren't the greatest in terms of pick and roll, but in terms of little things you saw here and there, trapping the defender on the hip, going for the floater, he was doing that last season, but they didn't put the ball in his hands because you had other guards and it was a Randle-centric offense. And last season, it was working, so why change it? But to say that his mentality changed, he just looks better now.
No, hold on.
Season. RJ Barrett's going to say the right things. That's why he's a leader.
No, but listen, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not
last season.
No, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you see RJ being more demanding of the basketball, give it here. I'm going to go get it because this is what I'm going to do. That is the mentality change that I'm talking about. Because he did not do that his first or second year. But you see him doing it more this year. That's the type of mentality change that I'm talking about with RJ Barrett.
And it took Randle going out in the health and safety protocols for him to realize that I can do this, that I need to do this. And that's when he actually started doing that.
That's cap, bro.
Talking about the whole season.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I've been making this the whole season.
What I don't understand is how is this a bad thing that was saying that? What capping about
it's
what?
not a bad thing, but
capping
it's not a
what?
bad thing what you're saying, but bro, that's not true. I seen RJ his rookie season, RJ his second season be aggressive. Yo,
we're not talking about being aggressive going to the basket.
It's about being consistent. It's about being consistent.
He was 19 years old. Who's gonna be consistent? Nobody's consistent.
What we're saying is that's how we're saying he developed. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, but you can't ask for the guy to be consistent coming out.
What?
But
I'm not asking for that. We're not asking for that. That's not.
He's developing. He's always shown shades of that. But last season, and fair enough, Randle was having an absurd season, and you had guards, especially Derrick. So you weren't really looking. I guess Tom Thibodeau could say he wasn't looking for that. But RJ Barrett has always had that. They weren't running pick. The only times they ran pick and roll for RJ Barrett was off the early pistol sets.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand what's being said. Then we're not saying anything bad about RJ. There's nothing being bad said about RJ Barrett. right? But his mentality as far as saying I'm gonna take control has changed. I'm gonna be the one, huh?
That's not Tibbs saying, "Yo, look."
That's him. That's RJ.
RJ is part of it.
And so Tibbs is like, "Oh my gosh, yo, you're clapping for the ball now. You want it? Let's do that."
No, I'm not. We're not saying that. No one's saying anything crazy about Tib. All we're saying is he has a different mentality and approach in the way he's thinking about the game and who has to take control on the floor. And when he has the ball in his hands, how I'm going to create, when I'm going to create, why I'm going to create. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the development of the player. It's okay. I don't get what's wrong with that.
No. I just don't think it's just that. I think it's also Tibbs he's opening up the offense for RJ to do that, to play more read and react versus RJ. Because people would say this stuff last season. RJ doesn't want it. Like, Sim, you've played. When have you seen the guy, he just wants it, so he's going to go up to the main guy and just take the ball from him and run the offense? This is not Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Carlton shoots the last shot. Like, you have to play within an offense. If the coach is not running it through you, you got to wait your turn. But
there's also a respect factor on the floor. I've played a lot of basketball. A respect factor on the floor that a certain player, what I'm saying, they don't have to come up and go like this. They can just put their hand in the air. And that they're going to get the basketball. Or in certain times, you just know, I'm going to get the ball to this guy because I know what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I think RJ is moving into that respect factor on the floor with whoever's out there on this basketball team right now. And, it just sometimes it takes time for him to get there. You can see him even in his interviews, the development of him and his personality, even in his interviews, coming out more. You know what I'm saying? It's just the growth of a young man.
Last season and the year before that, RJ Barrett had a 23.5% usage rate. That's second on the team behind Julius Randle at 27. This season, RJ Barrett's usage rate is up to 25, right? So all this stuff about RJ Barrett not getting the ball, and we're not trying to run any offense through RJ Barrett. They just put him in the corner the whole time. That's nonsense. Complete nonsense. RJ Barrett had his opportunities. He was second on the team in shots last season. It's the notion, right? The notion of it. He was second on the team in shots last season. He's second on the team in shots this season, right? So RJ Barrett has had his opportunities, but the difference is his mentality was way different than what it is right now. And that's why, hold on, let me finish. That's why you see him taking that next step now. Like the offense is starting to go through him more because he is being more aggressive, right? He is the one that is dictating things on the floor, and the players around him respect him for that. He's drawing that respect. He has that respect.
But who said that? Who complained about the usage and he wasn't getting looks?
You mentioned usage. You said the offense wasn't there run through RJ. You said the offense, it was only Randle-centric that RJ Barrett really didn't have. He was just standing in the corner.
But no one said he wasn't taking shots last season. He was mostly in the corner, attacking from the corner as a wing player. But no one said he wasn't getting the ball. Said the offense wasn't running through him. That's the only thing. And Tom Thibodeau has this. Bro, Tom Thibodeau has a process. The same thing with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler comes in being a defensive guy. Derrick Rose comes out. He slowly developed Jimmy Butler into that type of playmaker. When RJ Barrett was scared to shoot threes last season because he was missing so many of them, Tom Thibodeau's the one that said, no, keep shooting them. There is a process for him. Not say RJ Barrett's not comfortable, but Tom Thibodeau also has a process to develop RJ Barrett. It's not about, I can look at RJ Barrett's eyes, he's getting more aggressive. He's getting more confidence on his hands, but it's a Tom Thibodeau. That's what I'm saying. People don't give Tom Thibodeau enough credit.
What about Emmanuel Quickly? What about when Emmanuel Quickly came out there and took his spot?
Well, Tom Thibodeau also needed guards, right? Because remember, how many guys got hurt?
And Emmanuel Quickly went to take it. I'm talking about even in the preseason.
Tom Thibodeau was allowing that. Hold on, let me help you out. Yashimoto and Tom Thibodeau love this kid in the draft. They felt that he was mature behind his ears, work ethic and everything, right? Like we were saying, development is not linear. When he came in, he mentioned 4 guys in the preseason who impressed him with their work ethic, all that stuff, right? Obi, he said that IQ might be, did he say something like he might be the best shooter, something like that, something crazy like that, right? So and also we had guards missing. So how Tom Thibodeau sees IQ for what he could do, essentially shoot and attack and throw floaters. He felt he's more advanced in doing is not the same. It's not the same way he's going to see RJ Barrett. So IQ and RJ Barrett are not comparable, right? And even now, look what he's doing with IQ. Over the summer, he said, but but there's a whole plan to have IQ, a better facilitator, better playmaker, right? He's coming in. I know he has an awful decision making, but his court awareness has improved on the court, right? So their developments aren't the same. RJ wasn't drafted or taken in by Tom Thibodeau. So I don't know why we're comparing the two. IQ's a whole different case.
The reason why I'm going to explain to you the reason why I bring up Emmanuel Quickly. It's because Emmanuel Quickly in the preseason last year, there were two guards ahead of him on the depth chart. That was Frank Ntilikina and Dennis Smith Jr. Right? Emmanuel quickly came in there and took that spot away from him based on his aggressiveness on the floor. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, hold on. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about the mentality. The mentality I'm talking about. The aggressiveness, the aggressive nature when they have the ball in their hands. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just Thibodeau, the player himself.
Well,
John, no.
And he was a bust.
Okay.
Frank Ntilikina was a
Come on, man.
Okay,
Yashimoto literally was scouting this guy and vouch. Don't listen to that Worldwide West BS story. Yashimoto was pushing for this kid because they felt he was also mature beyond his years. He was never behind those. Same thing with the Knowns Well thing they did last season. Tom Thibodeau, Knowns Well was ahead of Mitchell Robinson, blah, blah. And Mitchell Robinson's the one that started that season. After all that palaver, all that BS, it was Mitchell Robinson that started. Tom Thibodeau has his mind games. What? Frank and DJ were never ahead of IQ.
Well, look. You know, I mean, that whatever that is, I still think that RJ Barrett's mentality has grown. He may have always had an aggressive play, but I think he has a more aggressive mentality. And there's two different things there, in my opinion. And I do think he's growing into his manhood as a basketball player, right? Let's switch topics. Let's talk a little bit about these next two games coming up because we go to Miami on Wednesday. Right, we go to Miami on Wednesday. Another Tom Thibodeau product, Jimmy Butler, one of my former basketball players, actually just shot a commercial with Jimmy Butler for Michelob Ultra. That's going to be, pretty dope. I'm looking forward to seeing that. He just finished doing it today.
Nice.
Called me up, told me he just finished doing it today. So that's going to be, I guess some kind of commercial where, I don't know. Jimmy Butler's playing basketball and a bunch of guys, whatever. It's about Michelob Ultra. I don't know. We'll see what it is. But that's going to be pretty dope. But I want to talk about Miami. And before we do that, let me get to a couple of super chats, and then we can go ahead and get into that conversation. First of all, let me get to Fred Wong. Thank you for the super chat. He said, that's the problem. Kemba should have been playing in the fourth instead of IQ or Burks, who gave us nothing tonight when we need more consistent offense. I disagree with you totally. I don't think Kemba should have been playing in the fourth quarter at all. I was cool with the lineup that was in the fourth quarter. I would have had Obi out there. I thought Obi was playing well. 1975 Jamrock said AB is the player that should be moved to Dallas for Jalen Brunson. Maybe. I don't know. And Greg, he said the support for Randle is killing your channel, Sim. How do you expect people to watching this to take you and your channel serious? I'll say this. I look at each player objectively. You may think I do not like a player or like a player. I support all the players on this basketball team. And if someone don't like my support for a player, then watch another show. That's all I got to say there. You know what I'm saying? Chill, I am going to speak about the players and say the way I feel and how I think about the player. I'm not asking everybody to agree with me. As a matter of fact, we live on disagreement in this show. That's what it's about. That's what we're here for. It's a debate. If we all agreed on everything, how boring would the show be?
Yes, we have 53 people or 33 people watching at 12 a.m. in the morning. So, I think the channel is fine.
And by the way, people, I'm not gonna be petty and say what I want to really say, but this is to me one of the best shows on YouTube because we can debate, all have arguments, and guess what? We're still all cool at the end of the day, people. Don't you worry. Even though some of us are wrong, get them all right. But hey, it's okay. That's how it works, baby.
Simmons is just looking to just move past that.
No, you know what? Yo, Gibbo, I don't care what nobody says. If people don't know, I'm gonna say it. People don't know Sim. Sim loves this. Don't you worry, people. This is what we breathe for. This is what we do. We good, baby.
Miami. We play Miami on Wednesday. Miami is, one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Yet again, they just find ways to do it. They just continuously do it. They do it. They find a way to be successful by fitting guys into just their culture, finding the right guys to fit inside their culture. Last season, we struggled with Miami every time we played against them, right? We played tight games, but we're not the same team. And they're a better team than last season. First time we're seeing them this year. What do you expect from this game? Miami Heat right now, the number one team in the Eastern Conference at 30-17. Josh, I'll start with you.
Are they really the number one team?
Number one team in the Eastern Conference, 30-17.
So I predicted Miami would be this good. Everyone had their doubts about Miami. They didn't have a bench or whatever, but I just knew that the combination of players that they have together, I just thought that it was going to work out for them, right? And we tend to struggle against Miami, particularly now I'm looking at this season. Now teams are starting to pressure us a lot more, and Miami does that. Probably one of the best teams in the NBA at doing that, right? Pressing, trapping, probably getting us trapping, try to force some turnovers. So we got to really take care of the basketball the next game. If we don't take care of the basketball, I don't think it's going to be really good for us. So that goes for Randle, and that goes for RJ. RJ is just now recently starting to get pressured a lot more. Teams are really starting to respect that, respect him a little bit more. So I expect Miami to do the same thing, and hopefully we can be able to pull it out, take care of the basketball.
Yeah, Gmo, thoughts on Miami?
I think it's a loss. You don't have Derrick Rose. I think our guards are going to struggle big time. They love trapping defenders. Bam Adebayo is an issue against Randle. Our smartest player, Taj Gibson, who can actually break their traps. Whatnot. How long? He's up there in age. I just don't see it as a win. They're getting a lot from the young players. What's that get? Yurt Sturvin, whatever that guy's name is.
Mike Strasser or something like that.
Sturvin, Kyle Guy, and I miss another guy. Strauss or something like.
Yeah, the undrafted player. Right.
You guys got Ty Hill off the bench. Only thing I think Lowry might still be in protocol. I might be wrong. They really don't need him. And I'm not sure this team without Derrick Rose. I don't know if Mitch is going to be back. You hope. We just struggle with the Miami Heat. They are they have something on us. They are, our yellow to the Green Lantern. Like we just can't beat them. We don't have the IQ. We don't have the players to beat them. I see this as an L. They're hot. They're white hot right now, and we're still trying to, figure out inbound plays. So
yeah,
I think
they are 7-3 in the last 10, 16-5 at home, 8-2 in the division, 19-9 in the conference, 30-17 on the season. Playing really good basketball right now. The Miami Heat. Isaiah, thoughts?
Like Guillermo said, we don't play the Miami Heat good. This is the ghost of Pat Riley. I'm not saying good. Please, Pat Riley live a long time. This is the ghost of Pat Riley. This team is everything we want to be. Sim? When we talk about being a defensive team that can switch, play defense, and have players that play for each other. Yeah, Jaws, I know it's funny, Jaws, right? Because we're so good.
A couple days ago, we wanted to be Memphis. Go ahead, though.
I wish
I would love to be Memphis.
I would love to be
Memphis. Are you out of here?
I'm not going to get started on that, Jaws, because whatever. You wanted Russell Westbrook last year. But
come on, go ahead. Finish it.
They'll do.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is Memphis supposed to be worse than the Knicks or something? Or we wouldn't want to be Memphis?
I'm saying every game is different. He wants to be somebody else, depending on who we play. That's what I was trying to get at.
Hey, all these teams are the top four in their conferences, and
right now, keep going. Go ahead, say your point.
You want to Russell Westbrook. Anyways, no, man. I think the Knicks are either going to play a very close game with the Miami Heat, like we always do, like we did last year, and lose, or we're going to get blown out. Just because the way the Knicks have been playing, just not good, no consistency. And Jimmy Butler likes to play us. I think he just loves playing against Thibs. But it might be a close one, but Knicks probably gonna lose, man. We're not ready to face a team like Miami.
I'm sorry, just sorry to cut it off, Sim. We wouldn't want to be Memphis. We think that team is not gonna be good for the.
I don't even know. I'm not trying to throw off my agenda.
I'm sorry, my bad. Memphis is. Sheesh. I love
Josh want to stay. Josh want to stay like this team, like how we are. Josh want to stay like that.
man, if you gave me Memphis
I
now,
always want to make trades, and I think our cap situation is way better than what Memphis is doing. But y'all like Memphis.
Anyway, go ahead. That's not what we on. That's not what we on.
I don't want to start this argument.
That's not what we on. Go ahead, Josh. We talk about Miami.
Oh, I finished. I already gave my point. Who's next?
Huh? Oh, you did? I didn't even hear it. See, everybody's all on, a whole bunch of.
You heard it.
I don't even know what you got.
He started the Memphis thing.
You know what I'm saying?
I take Memphis in a heartbeat.
You know what I mean? And you got, all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to head out of here. I'm gonna finish you off. Let you finish this off with Tom Thibodeau. These guys come in here and try to, throw people all over the place into 20 different directions. Instead of, sticking to an agenda. We're going to listen to Tom Thibodeau and his post game, ladies and gentlemen. I will catch you guys on the shoot around tomorrow. Get up out of here.
Walk me through the last two possessions there. About
Can they hear us?
seconds on the clock. RJ gets a good look. And then the last possession, about 1.3, Julius gets a look at the basket too.
Yeah, the RJ one, I didn't think it was bad. We wanted to attack open floor. He had been getting downhill pretty good, so we thought that would be a good opportunity for him. And then we may have settled for that. I want to take a look at the film. Then with the final one, they did a good job of taking the corner away, and there's 3 options on that play, and Julius ended up with a tough shot there. But that's, the credit to their defense.
Coach, when you look at this game, defensive battle all night, but on a night where you get 11 steals, you're forcing a lot of turnovers, and then you can't quite hit your free throws. How frustrating is that?
Well, you got to find a way to win. I didn't like our transition defense in the first half, and then I thought we fought. I thought our bench gave us a really good lift. Then we got going down the stretch. And then it came down to basically a loose ball offensive rebound that they got that turned it into a 3. And that's the difference in the game. So, go ahead. I'm sorry, Rebecca.
No, continue.
No, and that's, there's, a fine line between winning and losing. But those are, fourth quarter, you got to come up with, those loose balls. And then you got to remain disciplined. We can't, recklessly gamble and give up threes. We got to make sure we're disciplined.
You mentioned offensively, the fight that you guys made to get back into this game after Kevin Love's third quarter there. You won a 20-5 run. You've got guys in the game at that point like Grimes and Noel. What did you see from some of your key role players tonight?
Yeah, I thought the bench gave us a really good lift. I thought Nerlens played really, really well. So did Taj when he was in there, but Quentin was terrific, not only with his offense but his defense. I thought Obi gave us really good minutes as well. So Quick's defense was very good. So, but they gave us a spark, and sometimes that's what you need, and that sort of got us going. And then unfortunately we couldn't close it out.
Is there something to taking a team as good as Cleveland down to the wire on the second night of a back-to-back, or do you feel you got to steal a game like this? Or?
Yeah, no, like the thing is, you got to find a way to win. That's the bottom line. And so, some things you can control, like you could deal with if you're not shooting the ball well, but floor balance, protecting the basket first, that's basic. That's commitment. So that, I felt like we had done a lot of good things in the first half, but we didn't protect our basket the way you need to protect the basket. So, and it cost us. And so the rebounding has to be, we've been a good rebounding team all year, and that hurt us down the stretch. And you can't be leaking out. We need everyone in there, and you got to make great effort. You got to fight. You got to hit. You got to go get it done.
You mentioned RJ's three-pointer. You were hoping maybe you would get to the basket on that?
Yeah, because the way he had driven the ball, I thought that he got to the line 10 times. You mentioned we did miss some free throws, but I love the way he attacked the rim. But I want to look like it was a pretty clean look. So if he shoots it well, it's a clean look. But I think in those situations, when you drive the ball, there's a lot of good things that can happen. You can get the and one, you can make it, you can get to the free throw line, you can get it, have a good chance at a second shot off of it. So that's the way. As long as he's aggressive, and I thought he was very aggressive in the second half, and I like the way he stayed with it throughout the course of the game.
In that third quarter, when they took off, I mean, did you sense the wariness with your team, even Julius, maybe? I mean, on the second night of a back-to-back on the road.
Yeah, look, back-to-backs are part of this league, and that's why your conditioning is so important. And you want to be in great shape. You got to prepare for everything. There's going to be stretches where the schedule's in your favor, other times when it's not. When the ball goes up, you got to be ready to go. And so some nights the other team's more rested than you are. But that's no excuse. You got to find a way to get it done.
You mentioned Quentin, very happy defensively. I mean, he's hitting threes, but what you saw Garland and whatever, and you just love that.
For like a young guy to come in the league, and he's not perfect, but he plays hard on every possession. And there's a physicality to him, and there's a toughness to him. And those things are important, a competitiveness. And so there's a multiple effort. It's ingrained in him. He takes the right shots. That's important. It's a big part of winning. So, and we need toughness. We need toughness.
Good. Next question.
Yeah.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.